Alright, what's going on, everyone? Today I'm going to be swapping out this Glock factory trigger for the Steel City Arsenal's trigger. So this trigger is actually made by, I believe it's 9x19, great company, but they teamed up with Steel City Arsenal and created some really good triggers, and I'll show you the difference here. So first, gun is clear, no mag, safe direction, fire it. Alright, now I can show you before and after. So here is the factory trigger. There's a lot of movement here, and it just feels really gritty, to be honest. So it is a good trigger, just leaves a lot to be desired. So you can see the travel. There's the wall right there. I'm gonna reset. It's not bad, but it does take a good amount of time to get to that wall. So that is something the Steel City Arsenal should fix right up. This is what it looks like here. I did get the black version. You can see it's really nice. It has 2 Allen keys if you ever need to service it. The back end. It's a nice flat trigger, and it is drop safe. So you can see if I don't actuate the safety, it will not go back. Does not go back. See if I can get closer to that. Not gonna go back. I'm trying to show you what it looks like right there. Alright, and here is the distance this time. That's it. You can see that. We're going to show you that reset. It's fairly short. That's it. Very nice. Again, I'm going to show you the travel distance. I'm at the wall. Alright, now to go through the process, you're going to want to take the slide off. Set that down. Alright, and I like to start with the locking block. Get that out of there. Then the slide lock or release, whatever you guys call it. Huge debate, don't care. You want to take that pin out. So a trick for this that I like to do is to wiggle this around while you're pushing down on this, and it'll give it just enough wiggle room for that little divot that's holding this in to pop out. So I'm just going to take that out. Let's see if you guys can see how I do it. Almost there. It does help if you have a couple people, or if you just like to get your hydro flask as well. Hold this out to the side, punch that down. I don't have a hammer, don't need one. I hardly take this thing apart unless I'm doing installs like this, which is honestly, how often are you gonna, install a trigger or anything like that? That comes right out. Set that aside. Pry this locking block out. Set that aside. Let's put the pins to the side. Alright, and then the trigger housing pin, that was the easiest one to get out. A good practice is to always remove the pins, push them out to the right, and put them in, from the left end. It's just, I don't know, I heard it from a gunsmith, and, feel like that's just what I do now. So then you're just gonna take the trigger out of the Glock, and this is what it looks like. This trigger itself has maybe 500 rounds to it, not very much, but we're gonna take this out here. Alright, I don't know if you guys can see how it's done, but basically you want to twist it to the side so you can see it's inside this little housing. You just want to pull on it a little bit, don't worry, just like that, and lift it up. And there is a spring, and the way to set that back this way is to put some tension on the spring here, just pull it back, and there you have it, just like that. And you're just going to want to disconnect it, if it would focus. Disconnect the spring from the trigger right there. So just want to get in there and disconnect it. You can see it's just got a little hook that holds in to the trigger right there. So we can set that down and set that down. Now we get the Steel City Arsenal trigger, and I'll show you guys what they look like side by side. This is a flat face trigger as well, so it's really nice. Actually, feels really good. It's aluminum, not plastic like that. And they do, I don't know what they called it, electro polish the trigger bar, which is really nice. So that's gonna give you that smooth feel when you're pulling the trigger. It's not gonna feel gritty. I do have the stock connector. Maybe I'll change that out later on. Right now I don't feel a need. Doesn't feel heavy at all for me. I believe it's the 4.5 or 5 pound connector that they have. So now to connect this, it's gonna be the same thing. You're just gonna connect the spring to this one, and then put some tension and twist it back in. So I'm going to do that now. Apologize if I don't get this on camera. Finicking with the spring is a little tricky. As soon as you guys get this part, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. And I know it's easy to be nervous when you're doing it, especially if it's your first time, but don't worry, it's once you have it open and you see how things work, it'll all come to you. Alright, so now that's in there. So you can see it's still writing back, right? So again, give it some tension, pull it forward and over. So now we're going to want to get it in that little valley right here. Right there. So again, you're going to want to sit it in, twist it, and place it in there, just like that. And when you put it in your gun, you want to make sure that it's not hanging up like this. You want to make sure that it's seated back. And this one is not going to really let you do that. It's not going to hold it. So you're going to want to hold it in while you place it into the gun. So we're going to go put this trigger first in here, and then you can see it's seated back like that. So again, hold it down right there. Oops, this is hard to do on camera. Seat it in so you can see it. It is not up top at all. You can see the connector peeking through, and again, you want it underneath. So then just lock that into place. Trigger is there. Looks really nice, and it looks a little bit out of place, but that's gonna seat exactly how we want it once we put the locking block and all the other pins in there. So now pins gonna go in. I'll start with the trigger housing pin. Just tap them in there. And you want to make sure that you true them up. So use the edge of your pin. I'm sorry, your tool. Make sure that it is even on both sides. And we are good there. You want to put your locking block back in. Remember to make sure that the pin seat goes down this way. So, let me just show you guys. Just gonna set that in, and you're gonna push it. And make sure you seat it well. It's nice and tight in there. Alright. So for this one you have two different pins. I hope you guys can see the difference here. This one is thicker, right? And it has two divots. You will notice it has two divots kind of in the middle. This is for the slide lock or release. So this is not the one that we want for the locking block right here. Okay, so we're gonna set that aside. This is the one. It looks like a barbell, so it has like thicker ends and just a slim middle. That's the one that you want for the locking block. So we're gonna put that in. That one goes on the top hole. This is a Glock Gen 3, by the way. I should have mentioned that earlier, but this trigger does work for generations 1 through 5. I'm sorry, 1 through 4. Works with your 17, 18, 19, all the way to 35, which is incredible. But for this part, you want to make sure that you can see daylight in there. So just press this part down just a tad. I can see through that hole. Push through. I like to use the back of mine. Okay, it's not all the way in. Just want to push that in, and again, true it in. Sometimes you'll hear a click, sometimes you won't. Let's see if we do. Yep, I'm not sure if you guys heard that, but it did make a little click. So now I know it's good on both sides. Looks even, all good. Alright, and now for this part, the trigger is going to look different. So you want to seat that down, okay? You want to push down right here. And what that's going to do is it's going to seat it where it should be. And you can even lock it into place if you really like to. So now, this part is actuated. You can lock it into place by pressing the bar forward, and you can see it clicked through. And again, just want to make sure you can see the daylight from this hole right here. You want to make sure you can see the daylight going through there. Okay? This part goes like this, right? So this is what is the spring. This is what gives it, the tension to slide back up. So it goes right in through this first canal right there. There's like a little canal on the left side of the gun if you're holding it this way. And you want to get it under the pin. So you can see the pin right there. That spring is going to go underneath, and it's going to have tension from that. So, hoping you guys can see this. It's going to seat right in there. Alright, and so I'm sorry I have to do this off camera. I don't have the best setup for the camera to be held up, but gotta make do. I didn't see very many videos on the Steel City Arsenal triggers, so I decided I'd make one because I was looking all over the place. And trust me, I know what that's like to try to find reviews and comparisons, and it's not there. It's pretty frustrating, so you gotta take the bargain. Alright, so this is that connector. I'm gonna press it through. Kind of goes in easy from this side. Once you get to this, Once you get to this pin is when it's going to get a little bit tough, a little difficult. So pretend that didn't fall out, because it can be difficult if that does happen. If it does happen to you and it's hard, just pull the pin out, make sure you can see the daylight, and go through again. I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to see if I can press it through. I'm going to use this side of my tape to press it. It doesn't look like it's going in. Let's try that again. Alright, so just a little wiggle on that, and see, I did have a little bit of difficulty, but it is there. I have to true it up now. So I'm just going to press it flat down from here. And then this time you will hear a click as well sometimes. It's a hit or miss. For mine, I have heard click. Alright, I apologize for the cutout. I'm not sure how far it cut out, but the battery died. So I'm going to have to snip those together. So for this, again, you will hear a click. And, you know, if you don't be scared. You know, it's alright. Sometimes they don't. Just make sure that they are even on both sides and that you can't easily just push it through. Sometimes you gotta wiggle that around as well. Just get it seated. A little too far, I went too far. Alright. Just gonna give it some taps with my hydro flask again. Get it nice and even. There it is, that's the click that you want to hear. It's not going anywhere. Alright, now let's get the slide back on. Alright.